Not good.
We have a problem.
All right, so we're back working on the 99 Toyota Camry. My daughter and I had to go somewhere yesterday, and I noticed that it was making a noise, and I asked you, how long has it been making this noise?
I said, I don't know. I hadn't noticed it.
It was very light. It was, in her defense, it wasn't like it was something just like super obviously wrong. So I said, when we get back home tomorrow, I'm going to check your car. So we did. All right, so show the people what we found. Not good.
We have a problem.
I investigated. It is the outer tie rod end, and I checked both sides. The driver's side is perfectly tight. So for now, I've got to go to the parts store and get a passenger side, or install, I think they're the same on both sides of the car, but install a passenger side outer tie rod end. It's just a reminder that you should always check your vehicles, especially if you've got your young ladies in them driving around. Check them occasionally. And like I said, in fairness to her, the noise that it was making was not very loud, and it wasn't very much. I just noticed a noise when we went over bumps, and I was like, we need to check that out. We made the phone call to O'Reilly's, and they wanted quite a price for a tie rod end for a very common car. So we made the decision that we were going to order from Rock Auto, and we'll just wait on the parts. Ordered some Delphi tie rod ends, and next weekend will only be a few seconds for you, but we'll get back in here and swap out these tie rod ends, and we'll get in a little in depth and show you actually what's going on. Parts have come in. We got the wheel tore off. Let's show you a little closer here. This should be turning when this turns. That's how much slack there is, and that is a ton. So we'll get in here and get it tore apart and get the new ones on. All right, so this is really a straightforward job. You've got the cotter pin here. Some people call them split pins. You got this nut, and you've got this nut here. Pair of side cutters, a hammer, and a really good crescent wrench. Not a cheap crescent wrench, a good one will do this job. There's not much to it. I believe that's like a 15 millimeter, and that's like a 17. And it may be 17 on both of them, I'm not really sure. But if you've got a good quality crescent wrench, you can pull this job off without any trouble at all. So let's get to work. Let's work on getting this split pin out. Let's see if we can grab the other side. Trying to hold the camera and work at the same time does not work usually really well. And it's not working really well in this case. But you just want to finagle the split pin around. Well, that's fine. Break off. I've got a whole nother box of them over there. But just take, and once you get that end sticking out right there, you grab it and just pull, and boom, it's out. Get the crescent wrench on there good and tight. Bend it off. Just leave the nut on it. And get that on there like that. I'm gonna see if we can do it one-handed. Nope. All right, I had to put you down, no biggie. That was a little snug. All right, so now what you're gonna wanna do is pay attention to how many revolutions you come out. That's the easy way to get it back approximately and fairly close without sending it to a front-end alignment shop or measuring it. If you put it, same number of threads in that you took it out, it should be right on the money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and it fell off after 13. Lucky number 13. You can hear that. This was just before leaving the chat. Here's what we're installing, the Delphi, and there is the part number that we're going to be installing. It's made in Turkey. You buy aftermarket, try to buy the best that you can. So let's go. Getting thread engaged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Why was it that far off of that nut? Because I didn't back that nut up that much. That's a little odd. All right, we're gonna compare the old one to the new one. See if there's a difference. All right, well, I think we figured it out. We did a little parts comparison. I'll show you right here, see if we got enough light to compare. But if you will look at this one, the threads come all the way to the end. That is the new one. Now, if you look in this one, I don't know if I have enough light to show it. We'll move. There we go. The threads don't start until about a quarter of an inch down inside there. So your thread counting method will only work if your tie rod end replacement is made like this one, which is the OEM. So we're going to have to come up with a different way to make sure that you put this back in the same place as you took it off. Okay, let's show you what we did and explain so that if you haven't run into this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This is the old tie rod end reinstalled back onto the inner tie rod end. Once we installed it back exactly where it was, we took this nut and we snugged it back up gently, and then we broke it loose, and it is just enough loose that you can still take your outer tie rod end back off, so that when you put your new tie rod in, when it contacts the nut, you're done. Just put the tie rod in the hole, snug up the nut here, okay? And it will be at the right length. This tie rod end dimensionally is the same length from here to here. They just, in the new one, have threads all the way out to the end, so you can't use the thread count method. But if your tie rod ends are OEM or made exactly the same, you can use 100% the thread count method. Just not so in this case. So just take it down till it touches the nut, and you see that it's only like maybe a quarter of a turn off. Put it back in place. Slide it down in there. Came with a Newcastle nut. We'll go ahead and install our Newcastle nut. By hand's fine for now. They can our jam nut up here and snug that baby down. Make sure it's good and tight. Locate your hole so you know where it is. I'm sure this has a torque. If you're curious about what the torque's supposed to be, I would highly suggest that you get your service manual out and look if that concerns you. My torque is until my wrist clicks, until I feel comfortable with it. But I have been doing this for a very long time, so I know what tight is. If this is your first time, I would encourage you to get a torque wrench and do it that way. insert your split pin, bend the ends over. Be sure to bend them where you won't get caught on them when you're working underneath here. Let's see. That'll work. And there you go. Tie rod end installed. All right, so we got the tie rod end changed, got her back where it's safe. So guys, remember, when you, especially your daughters, gotta keep a check on their vehicles, especially, you know, your favorite daughter.
I'm your only daughter.
Well, you know, you're still my favorite. Well, if you enjoy this kind of content, you know what to do. You know all the things to do down there at the bottom. Just go do them. So, until next time.